JB. YouTube is up to its tactics again. Let's see if this works this time. Let's see if it works. So we're going to start again 20-30 minutes into the show. Scott's already in this. Got to do all again. So look, welcome to the channel. I'm JB. This is your first time here. Be respectful in the chat. Be respectful to the community. Be respectful to the moderators in the chat. Be respectful to me, to yourself. Otherwise, a ban hammer comes down. We don't like doing it. We absolutely hate banning people. This is a channel for everybody. We do have some amazing rival fans on here as well. So just get into the chat. Let me know how your team has done today. Second thing to say is that I'm not a dictator of this chat. Good evening, Steve. Hope you're doing extremely well. I'm not a dictator of the chat. This is your channel. This truly is your channel as much as it is mine. Just because I have an opinion doesn't mean it's more valid than anyone else's opinion. It's just we just have our opinions. And sometimes everything's going wrong tonight. We just have to agree to disagree on certain subjects. It's all going wrong tonight. But that's how we do it here. We may not be the biggest, but we genuinely are the best. And that's what most people say. So welcome to the show. So this is me doing this again. I did spend 20 minutes doing it before YouTube decided to you don't want to know what I called it. I didn't call it some nice things. But hopefully it's going to work because it's just annoyed me. That seems to be the story of the day. United channel, look, I want to know your opinions. Let's not beat around the bush tonight. Again, I wanted to go. I'll go back through what I said at the start of the show about. I wanted to go back through what Amarin said in the press conference, and then we'll go back to what we saw on the pitch. I want to know your opinions. I want to know what you saw. I want to know who you thought played well, who you thought played badly, because I've got my opinions on players. Even some of the good players. I mean, there are a couple of players who do get away with it on the basis that, I think they played well. But even some of our good players that played well, I thought today was abysmal. I've been saying this. I thought today was abysmal. I think that, are we going backwards? I don't think we're going backwards. I think we are stagnating. I don't think we're learning anything. And this is why the week before last, or the top of this week, I got annoyed. I got annoyed with fan channels saying that we're back. We're back. We're going to win a league. One of the biggest ones out there did a fucking show all about can we win the Premier League? Where are you now? Like, where's your next show about can we win the Premier League? Like, we could have gone second tonight, or second at some point, and we bottled it. We were atrocious. We've got one game a week, and I think this for me is the most baffling point of everything that I don't get. Danny B, legend, big up myself, big up JB, legend. Of course you are, my friend. One of the things that I don't get, we've got one game a week. Emma says hello, my friend. We've got one game a week. Dina says, and we are back. Exactly. We've got one game a week, and we put in a performance like that. Not everybody. I'm going to give credit today to the back four, back five. Danny B, Ugarte, Delo, straight up. I mean, I'm going to give, look, Delo, I'm going to give him a pass on that one today. Look, he came on. Was he great? No, but I'm going to give him a pass today because I think if I was to call him out today when he played 11 minutes, I personally am not comfortable with that. Look, we all know what he is, but today wasn't his fault. Shaw, a statue watching Dalit handling. Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw again had a decent first half-ish, and second half he just capitulates. His team capitulates time and time again, and we saw it again. And I've been saying the same things over and over again. We've accumulated these low IQ, low intensity players who just can't do it for a whole match. I keep saying this. Second half, we come out second half, and then from minute 48 to about 70 minutes, we switch off. Bruno Fernandez today was dog. Where was Bruno Fernandez? There were some 50-50 balls, and he was trying to get his big toe to it. Where was the leadership on the pitch? There's a certain Dutch defender that should be the captain of this side. Again, look, we'll talk about the plays today. Then after this, for the next 2 weeks now, that is basically the last game now until we're going to go into a run of games where I think we could suffer. We're going to go into a run of games. We're going to go into Garnacho Cook today, says Scott. Garnacho can do one, mate. Look, I get it. Did it for Captain Bryn reasonably. Dino, 100%. That today, the end of the game, was the epitome of what I want to see as a captain. That for me today was the epitome of it. It was the epitome of a captain. That's what captains do. What did Bruno Fernandez do? He goes in for 50-50s, and that's what he does. So look, what I wanted to do, and I'll do this again, is that at the beginning of the show, I wanted to go through some of the conference of what Amron said about this team and about these players, right? And then what we then saw in this game. So Amron says, I think we have more confidence. We can win any game. We think we can win any game. Last game was tough on us. We were not the team we are supposed to be. So, and again, you've got a week with these players, right? We cannot forget we have to improve. These are not my words. These are Amron's words from the conference. We are more prepared for anything that can happen in game. We are better in moment, but we have a lot to improve to win games. You also know we struggle in games. We have to win. These are the manager's words. And what did we see today? This manager, for all of his faults, and I think today we saw a lot of faults, and I think he masterminded a loss today. He knows this team. He knows this team. I mean, everything he said, and this is literally just in the sort of the first bit, is that we think we can win any game. The last game was tough on us. We were not the team we are supposed to be. We are more than prepared for anything that can happen. We are in a better moment. We're better in the moment, but we have a lot to improve to win the games. We also know we struggle in big games. What did we see there? So Jackie, it was 2-2. De Ligt scored in the 95th minute, whatever it was. Corner, banging header. I mean, the guy is a captain. And Dino, I agree with you. De Ligt is standing up and he leads by example. One game a week. We look like fitness. Like we play a month. We do. Van der Ven, right, today. I don't think Van der Ven was outstanding today. But that tackle and Šeško, again, Šeško comes on. He goes off injured. Even things like you can see it in Šeško. I thought you'd have won 3-1. Look, Jackie, mate, we ain't beating anybody 3-1. We've scored 19 goals and conceded 18 goals. We've scored. We're now scoring goals, right? Before we get into the match, I just wanted to give you my thoughts. This pivot, this middle of the park is just destroying us. Today, the pattern is to dominate first half, second half completely switch off, scramble for a point. Steve, and do you know what, mate? That seems to be the pattern. Just for the first time lost to me. Dino, again, he comes on, and there's no there was so many times, and we will talk about the game now as well. So there were so many times where we had the ball. The United Devil, how are we? Zane, I'm very well, my friend, and hope you are too. United looked really good. We didn't, mate. We really didn't. We looked awful today, my friend. But thank you for the comment. We are the best in Galatasaray. Look, SB, Galatasaray at the moment. Look, they're in the Champions League. Osman scored a hat-trick. Fantastic. I hope Man City beats Liverpool. So where are we? Where are we in this game? So look, let's get through the game. Arsenal did drop points. I see progress, and we need to stop conceding goals in second halves. We should we should be fine. Believe in him. Look, Regan, if you've heard me on this channel before, I've been hammering in. I support this guy. I've been supporting him since the Grimsby game. Since I've got pelters. I've been supporting him since he came here. So I'm not gonna, I'm still with this manager. I'm still baffled by the things that he does, and he's not getting away with it today because I believe in something. I believe in him, but I think he also has to take this because I think he's messed up today. Get Neil Warnock in. Imagine where we could be if we didn't drop 4 points in 2 games. Exactly, Scott. You don't have a bit of confidence going through the next 6 matches. I'm confident City will beat Liverpool. If Amrin was backed in the summer with a CM wing back, I think we would be 4 to 6 points better off than we are now. I think he's spot on. If he's backed with a centre midfielder, if he got backed with 2 centre midfielders and Bruno Fernandez, as I keep saying, I can't keep saying this any more and more and more. And this is what frustrates me a bit on here, right? And it's not with you guys, because we talk about it and we talk about it all of the time, and you know my feelings on it. I'm consistent. I'm consistent, and when I see people saying like Fernandez is great because he's had a good game, he's crap because he had a bad game, he's great because he had a good game, he's crap because he had a bad game. Like, I'm consistent. I will remain and I will die on this hill. Bruno Fernandez should have been sold. Bruno Fernandez should have gone. Bruno Fernandez is not the captain. Bruno Fernandez is petulant. Bruno Fernandez is not very good. He's capable of some amazing stunts, but his Moment FC, I think this team reflects the captain. Moment FC. Dino says we either go behind and switch off, or we go behind and collapse. This is a bold claim from me. Amrin cost us the game today. Dino, I'm with you. I think Amrin cost us the game today. I think certain plays did. I think it was a combination. I think it was a combo of this team and Amarin changing too many players. Steve says having 0 cup foot was really affecting us in match fitness off the bench. I agree with you. I do agree with you. Lemens was bought in July and we get a draw at Arsenal. Mbeumo's star signing for United has made a huge impact. Having Bruno in the midfield is, I agree. Bruno in there just doesn't work. You're rolling the dice. Do you attack and play good football, or be liable on the counter, or defend and people moan about the quality of play? Look, I mean, we've got to do something. We're either good at attacking or we drop off a cliff. Like, there is no, and this is what I mean. Xerxes to start next game because of Shesko, and that's where we are. Bruno should have gone, and we could have had Steeler, Anderson, or Baleba right now. What a joke. I don't disagree. So look, let's get through my comments. You could play Cunha in midfield instead of Bruno Fernandez. Mate, we need... Look, no, not for me. Only because, and again, tonight, guys, when I this is your show. You get in your comments tonight. I'll give you my opinion. I'm not necessarily gonna come back on your opinions because your opinions are your opinions. Cunha can't play in there, mate. We need a proper centre midfielder. So I'm gonna go through my notes, and then we can see sort of where we are. I've got pages and pages and pages of notes. Now, look, let's start off with the game. Spurs, and this is no disrespect to Spurs fans tonight. I'd be gutted if I was Spurs tonight. Amrin loves Bruno in that position. He won't change him now. Exactly, Dino. Look, this is going to be no disrespect to Spurs fans. When Richarlison scored that goal, who was playing him on? Ugarte, right? Ugarte was playing him on. So I think both teams came out. I thought that both teams cancelled. Fundamentally, both teams for me cancelled each other out. Spurs were dog. We were dog. We were absolutely awful. I didn't think Spurs were great either, and yet Spurs played midweek. Again, I've got like half a team out. There were certain points in the first half I never felt threatened by Spurs. Do I think we played well in the first half? I thought we played okay. I thought the back five did okay. Lemens, when he made saves, I mean, some of the saves that Lemens made, I thought were fantastic today. I thought Luke Shaw had a reasonably good game. I thought Dorgu, the start of the game, that the pass from De Ligt to Lemens about a minute in to give Spurs a corner, I was like, oh, like here we go. Lemens grew. He grew into the game after that shaky start, and then I just thought we just cancelled each other out. You know, we had. I remember us having one or two shots. I remember, you know, we had some good play. I think Spurs again ran through the middle. I thought we did well to curb that Van der Ven threat, because I don't think Van der Ven wanted to come out. I thought Spurs looked a little bit tired as well. But again, Spurs did what we said that they would do. Spurs balls in, but teams target us. Teams target the wingers. Wingers. They target the wing backs. I keep saying this. They keep targeting the space in between the wing backs. Right? They target Luke Shaw, Dorgu. At least Dorgu for me has pace. Right? Dorgu, I think, had a little bit of a dodgy start, but then I think he grew into the game, and I thought Dorgu had a good game. I thought Luke Shaw had a good first half as well. De Ligt, after a little bit of a shaky start, I thought he had a good. Mainu's injured, I think. De Ligt, immense again. Maguire was okay. He was all right, and Maz on the right was okay as well. Maz got tired, but I thought he was all right. So for me, the first half for me, I thought the defence did a decent job. I've got no issues, really. I even thought Luke Shaw in the first half looked fine. And then midfield, we all know Fernandez is about as tough as a wet paper bag. You know, there was no bite from him today. I don't even know what he did today. There were a couple of nice little, like, he does these nice little flicks, these nice little things, but he does nothing else. Casemiro, and I'll come on to Casemiro because I've got a lot to say on him. When we're defending and he's sitting in front of that, Musa says hi, my friend. When Casemiro is being a disruptor and he's sat in front of that back three, I think he's good, right? People are going to say he's really improved this season. People are going to say he's one of our best players, right? I think he is one of our better players, but that's not a good thing. And I will come on to that as well. Cunha, I thought, had a bad game. Cunha tries hard. I didn't think he was great. Ahmad, I thought Ahmad again was decent. I think Ahmad's getting Mr. Consistency. Ahmad is good. Ahmad makes things happen. And Brian, I love him. I think he's great. I think he's brilliant. I really do. He's so consistent. He's so consistent, and I really, really like him. He is consistent, Mr. Consistent. You know, the things he does, the things he tries to do. I thought he was fantastic. Yeah, I think he's great. So first half, but again, you know, this not. It's basically the same old thing, right? There's I can't sit here and start analysing the match. I can do, but it's basically the same thing. It's that, and I genuinely was bored. I was really bored. Spurs weren't great. We weren't great, and I just found the game boring. Midfield, we don't have a midfield. We just don't have a midfield. And then again, you know, there were times where Dorgu at least tried to get a ball into the box. Ahmad tried to get the ball into the box. Second half, and we'll come on to that. The second half was abysmal, absolutely abysmal again. So first half, 1-0 going in. fine. The goal was taken really well. Great goal. Good cross by Ahmad as well. Ahmad, and everybody, even though I don't think we played extremely well. I thought we were comfortable. I thought we kept Spurs at arm's pace. And I just thought that everybody had a decentish game. And then, of course, the second half happens. Let me go through some of your chats. Second half happens. Of course it does. Where are we? 2 games in. You need absolutely no change. Let's have a look. Scott just cooked the guy 10-3 on FC 26. Absolutely no change. Amin seems like a grumpy old man that's stuck in his ways. You need to replace Casemiro and Bruno. 2 games in a row now where the opponent should have beat us, and individual brilliance has bailed us out. Dalot, there's one. Notice how we concede when Dalot comes on. We fall to bits every game. He subs Casemiro. Look, I'll give you my opinion on Casemiro next. I think you're right, Steve. I do. I don't think it's because Casemiro is so brilliant. I don't think it's because Casemiro is this wonderful, amazing player that everyone seems to be thinking he is. I think there's a reason, and I will come on to that. We haven't changed since Ollie Ball, and hoping for a bit of brilliance from somebody. I agree with you. Amarin still sat on the bench playing Football Manager. Kobe Manu needs some game time. Again, I think there's a rhetoric around these players. I only rate a couple of these players. This is the fans' business debate. He doesn't care if he wins or loses. His contract gets paid either way. His pockets probably lined up for life. Top player in Boomer. In Boomer is our best player. I agree. Rinse and repeat. The mint with the hole. In Boomer was like 3'2". He made that header look easy. Spurs defending were terrible. Shut up about Dalot. You all wanted him on the bench, and you all got your wish. Look, Grace. I'm not going in on. He tonight for me, Grace, is a side note, right? I think it's coincidence that he comes on and we concede 2 goals. Ugarte, Luke Shaw, those 2 for me were culprits. Today, Ugarte, when he came on, I don't think I've seen somebody come on and look so bad. Dalot needs to get. So look, he does, but I'm not going in on him tonight. I don't think that. I'm giving him a break tonight because I don't think he did. It wasn't him for a change. Something seems obvious. Delete captain Archer Champions League semi-final at 18. He's a jinx. Look, I agree with you. He is a leader. Fernandez needs to go and he should be captain. So Jackie, I feel bad for the players for the simple reason you can't single one player out when you're playing a team game. Look, Jackie, when you win and lose, you've got to win and lose as a team. I agree with that. But I think when there are players in that team, and look, Dalot doesn't pick himself. But my problem is that when you're playing, when you're getting paid millions of pounds, you have to lose as a team, right? But you can contribute. There are certain players in this team, time and time again, who let the side down. And when you're playing elite level sport and you're looking at the margins, the really fine margins, and you've got 11v11 players, and everyone's playing amazing other than one, you can point to that and go, this player isn't pulling his weight. And I think that's. But I do agree with you that we have to singling a player out in a team game. But you have to. I really think you do. Did you go? No, I didn't. Sunderland, look. Sunderland, congratulations. I mean, brilliant. And I kept saying this as well, is that Arsenal will have moments where they won't play well and they will concede goals. Do you know Galatasaray? I don't know them personally, but I know of them. Can win a game without scoring. What did you say before that, though? What did you say? He said, if strikers score 5 goals, and it's always the defenders and keeper who get slaughtered when you concede 3. It's a good point, Jackie. Look, mate, I'm not disagreeing. It's people's mindsets. Like, I think you win and lose as a team, but then when you start to the reason for me, and I'll give you my reason as to why I think you need to, right, is because how do you then create a better team, right? If basically, and this is just me, this doesn't mean that I'm right. If you win and lose as a team, right, and all you're saying is that you focus on that. So let's just say you lose and everyone says, "Oh, we've lost," and everyone takes culpability, right? How do you actually then weed out those players who are not pulling their weight? Like, how do you weed out those players who are not good enough? Because in this game today, it felt like a loss. Why should certain players be part of that? Like, there were certain players that didn't deserve to be part of that. Like, I don't agree with this singling out of players, even though there are certain players that I don't like. But I think when you are in high end sport and you get the money that you get paid, you can be culpable. And the reason why we need to do this is because we need players gone. You win and lose it as a team, you do. But then how do you improve as a team? In my own opinion, is that you then have to look at the players around you. You know, even the best example that I'm going to use is Ferguson, right? When he was winning title after title after title, team full of winners, he'd get rid of winners because he'd want better winners. So surely the same in my opinion stands to if you lose, you need to get rid of players that help you lose. The same as Fergie, even though he had teams that were winning games, Jaap Stam, Jaap Stam, best example, was a winner. Was an absolute at one, what a player, and got sold. A winner, argue one of the best defenders in the entire world, part of a winning team, but he got sold. So whilst I agree with you, I still think you absolutely do need to call these players out. Can win a game without scoring. I'm a Sunderland till I die. Look, Bran, welcome, my friend. You should be celebrating tonight. Should be celebrating. Sunderland fans tonight, big up. Absolutely big up to you lot, because you guys come up. I personally gave you no chance. And I will even hold up my hands. I don't need to say it. I don't need to admit it. I never even give you a thought this season. And I'm happy to put up my hand and say, well done to Sunderland. I think you guys are having a fantastic season. Well done. I've got nothing else to say. I've got nothing but respect for you guys. Well done tonight. Brilliant. If you lose 3-0, it's the defenders who always get the blame. What about the attackers who never score a goal? How do you win? No one gets away with it today, mate. No one gets away with it. Look, I agree with you, but tonight there are certain players that I think pull their weight, and there's certain players that don't. Imagine, Grace says, imagine if you had 6 years of Amarin and played like Arsenal, Arteta, fans would never give the manager 6 years. Exactly. Imagine that. Arteta, get him out, Arteta. Yes, mate, I'm a Mackin. 7-0, nice. Mourinho is the best example. Score 1 goal, park the bus, 3 points, and a clean sheet record. Sir Jackie, I would take that. I'd take it right now. Like, I don't care. I do care in the long run, but if that's what we had, I would take that. I would all day take a 1-0, but we're not even good enough to do that. And I'm not even blaming really now the back three. We don't have a midfield. Fergie got rid of players at their peak, and Refresh was not afraid to show his best, and the club bottled it with Bruno. So I agree. Steve says, I feel every fan seems obvious that Bruno in the system does not work. Worries me. Another stubborn manager successful in the crap league thinks it works. Good points, guys. And again, keep getting your points. So look, where are we? Second half. Let's go through the second half. Let's go through the turgid pile of excrement, the mire of crap that was the second half. Daniel says hi, hello, my friend. It was, I think, one of our worst performances in a second half. I knew it was coming. I said on stream. I also said the game would be 2-2. And again, like, I hate the fact that I was right. Like, nice comeback. I say Conte would be a good manager. Nice comeback. Look, it was a lucky comeback. Like, I'm not gonna hide away from it. If I was a Spurs fan, I'd feel like I've just been, But again, Spurs are like that as well. Spurs are Spursy. Two teams very, very similar. But the thing that annoys me every single week, right? Forest last week dominated the midfield. I have had people on here, and no disrespects to people quoting stats at me last week about how Forest were this amazing, like how we were this amazing team last week and we played well, and I got the stats of we had 18 shots, blah blah blah. We were awful. And Forest come out last week and Forest wanted it more fight. For me, I'll keep saying this. Serona, who went up for who tried to stop the ball out, and it was on the line, and nobody knew. The fact that guy ran after that ball, I would have, and nobody knew that if it was conclusively over that line, I would have given him the benefit of the doubt on the basis that he ran his arse off to get the ball. None of our players were there. Our players don't run. Our players still don't want to run. Like today, Spurs, right? First half, Spurs weren't great. Like they did some okay stuff. I thought our passing was better. I thought we held them off at bay. They had a couple of crosses in there that Richarlison missed. There was a couple of chances that they had, but they weren't great. And then Spurs did what you should do. Playing bad, they come out and then they grew into the game, and it was relentless. 50 to 80 odd minutes, just Spurs attack. There's nothing in that midfield, nothing at all. Bruno Fernandez to me today was, you might as well have not, invisible man. I will get on to Casemiro. The fact that Casemiro is our best midfield player terrifies me. I will hold my hands up and I will say that Bruno Fernandez is having a better season, right? Is he an amazing player? No, he's not, right? I've watched him all season. He's an average player. A lot of it is because of age. His brain's still there. When he sits in front of that back three as a disruptor, I think he's great. But just because he gets into this side, just because when he comes off we then capitulate, doesn't mean that Casemiro is a resurgence of Casemiro, right? He's still very slow, but he's the best that we've got. The thing is with him, he is the best of a bad bunch. A 34-year-old Casemiro is getting ahead of Ugarte, and you can see why. It terrifies me. And then there's Bruno Fernandez. What I say about Bruno Fernandez is this. I can tolerate Bruno Fernandez not playing well. And what I mean is that if Bruno Fernandez has said, look, I will stay here for the team and I will do a job, for this team. I don't want to play in this position, but look, I've got a contract. You don't want to sell me, and you're telling me where to play. I will play there. But what I will do when I play there, even if I'm still trying to learn the position and I'm not the best at it, I will still give you blood, sweat, and tears. I will give you everything. Dunshima says, hi, hello. I will give you everything that I possibly can. I will give you blood, sweat, tears. Right? The back four does. Sorry, the back three does. Right? They'll stick their head on a rock. Right? I'm not saying it like everybody, but they'll give you blood, sweat, and tears. Bruno Fernandez today was pitiful. There was one 50-50 with somebody that he should have won, and he pansies out of it. Like, I'm not good. Like, today, it was when you needed that grit and that steel in there to win those balls, right? To get someone in there who's going to get stuck in. Like, there was a 50-50, and I've played in Sunday League, and I know that would have been an absolute cruncher, right? You set your stall out, and you go into that tackle, and you go, this is my game. Roy Keane would have absolutely smashed that in there, right? You stick in a foot and you say, this is my ball. I'm on you today. This is my fucking midfield. You lot can piss off. That is what he sticks out a toe. He sticks out a pinky. I'm like, what are you doing? Right? So you pair those two up. You've got Casemiro, who is, look, it's not his fault. He's playing the best he bloody can. Like, he is doing the best that he can. And I've got a lot of time for Casemiro. He is doing the best he's got, but he's absolutely not an amazing player. Right? There are the same people who are saying that we're going to finish top four, the same people who are saying that we're going to win the league, right? But want to play Casemiro. Is Casemiro going to win you a Premier League or get you into a top four race? No, he's not. Would Casemiro walk into any of a top 4 or 5 side? No. So, Leeds Edit says, hi, I'm a Leeds fan. Wilfred Nonto had a good crack scoring against you. I like him. Welcome to the shirt, my friend. To the shirt. Welcome to the show, my friend. Nonto, I like him. I really like him. I have your jersey. I like him. I think he's a great player. I really like him. Let me just go back to the old chats. Dino says, honestly, JB, I'm normally cracking jokes with the chat, but after that game, I'm still mad. Does it feel like a loss? And the point we got was because we had individual brilliance. Dino, I agree with you, mate. Steve says, the midfield is what will kill us. We're not going to get what we want in January window, just a loan deal. That's the problem with football these days. Pass it into the goal. You hardly see Scholesy, Lampard, screamer these days. Gina says, posh JB. They're trolls, mate. Yeah, look. Whatever, mate. I mean, trolls. Look, we can deal with nice trolls. We can. But just remember, as long as we are respectful in this chat, then it's all good. So second half for me, look, I'm just gonna go. I literally have made some notes. So again, Bruno's 50-50 is awful, and I stick a foot in, and you are like the thing for me today, right? And the reason why I bring it up, right? You are the captain of this club, right? You should be willing, blood, sweat, and tears. This is what you get paid for. Porro, stick one on him. And I'm not talking about, try to injure him. Like, as a captain of this club, how can you be a captain of this club, right? How can you be a captain of this club and not put a foot in? It's embarrassing. It embarrasses me. And this is not me reacting to the game. If people listen to me, I'm so consistent in the views that I have. I will not change the views. Bruno Fernandez should have gone. I keep saying this as well. I don't mind if Bruno has a bad game. I respect people who want to play in positions that they don't play in, right? But you've got to give the basics. You've got to give blood, sweat, and tears. And the fact that Amorim doesn't take him off, the fact that Amorim keeps playing him, it concerns me. It concerns me as well. Techie Border says, "Are you happy with the result?" Well, look, am I happy with the result? I'll answer that quickly. Am I happy? No. Well, am I happy? Yes, because it's a point. Am I happy with the game? No. And again, I need to be balanced and fair, because these are games that we would have been losing last season, right? And people are going to go on, oh, the character of these players, the never say die of these players. What a load of bollocks. The character wasn't shown today. The reason why we scored a goal is nothing to do with character of the players. It was to do with the character of one person. The reason why we won the reason why we drew this game today was because of the character of one person, or the brilliance of one person. It's got nothing to do with the character. Now, I will say this, that we got a point, and normally last season we probably would have lost this game, right? We're accumulating more points, we're scoring some more goals, but the concern for me is that we're doing this now. The performances are staying the same, they are stagnating, going backwards. It's the next games that concern me. It is the next games. We're going to have 8 games in in a month. It's this form, people are talking, I want those fucking channels, right? Those channels who are still have put out there that we're going to win the league, or we're going to finish 4th, 3rd, 5th. I want you, after the Christmas break, if we are up there, congratulations, you've called it early. Well done to you. You're seeing things that I can't see. If we're dog shit, are you then basically going to call out your own crap? Because I'm sick of it. It turns this fan base upside down. People with massive channels, with content that they make. This team is nowhere near Champions League. Like, if you look at the table, we are. Of course we are. But we are nowhere near it. In terms of how we're playing, we are nowhere near it. And my worry is leading up to these next games. That is my concern. My concern is the next games. We should have been building up form and then ready to go. Our form is dog. We've not lost in 5 games. You think to yourself, great, fantastic. If you don't watch it, look, there are so many people, right, out there that don't watch games. Right, we're very, very fortunate in this country that we can watch games, right? There are many people in this country that can't afford to watch games. There are people abroad who can't afford to watch games. I feel very, very, very fortunate that I'm able to watch games, right? So if you're a person that can't afford to watch these games, you rely on people like myself, you rely on communities like this to give you an opinion, right? To give you their opinion. Doesn't mean that we're right, but we try to be balanced. The reason why I give you guys your opinions on here that are different to mine is because we can have a well-balanced conversation. And if anybody listens to this back, I hope they get some benefit out of this, because you've got so many different people, right? But it's when you've got these big characters, these big channels who are putting it out there to these people who don't watch it, and they see our form and they think, oh great, like we've not lost in 5 games and we're scoring goals. They don't know, out of those 5 games we've only probably played well once. If you look at our form, it's win, what was it like, win, loss, 1 win, draw, turgid draw. What's next? A loss, a bad loss, because we'll come up against somebody that will lose. Well, we've got Palace away. Is it then going to be win, draw, loss? Because our form's gone. There is no confidence. And And that's my concern. That is my deep concern now. Is and again, I'll come on to the Casemiro thing. It's the form. It's what is Amrin? We're playing one game a week. What is he doing? Dan says we need a creative. Jackie says I can Leeds players that play for Leeds. Bro, it's funny how you both come in at the same time saying you play for Leeds, and the other guy is your top jog lad. Bro, it's funny how you both come in for Leeds. You play for Leeds. Yeah, exactly. JB has never changed his stance on the tripod. Exactly. The tripod is the same. Scott, closest he's been to Leeds is leaks for his granny's homemade soup. Sunrise, I love it. 53 in the chat and 5 likes. Exactly. Meta bingo. Oh, I love it. Oh, come on. Right. You're going on a timeout. DJ Superfly, had we changed manager, we'd be top and closing in by first buy. Now, look, DJ Super Guy, look, again, this is not a night. Like, I'm not, like, you guys have your opinions and you know that I respect your opinion. I admire, in some respects, someone still having an opinion that they're hammering out, because you are staunch in your opinion. I am the sort of person who, I don't care as long as you're not toxic. If you have an opinion that's different to mine, right? I'm consistent in my views. But for every yin, there is a yang. So there are people out there who are going to be hammering out who don't budge from that position. I respect that more than people who are hammering in, hammering out, hammering, shake it all about. Like, I'll respect that opinion. And if you've always been hammering out and you still are, and you're not convinced by these 3 wins, these 2 draws, respect. Absolute respect. I've got plenty more to say as well, but respect. How you still not got scrapped still? They can. Mary says hi. Hello, hope you're doing extremely well, Mary. How did Leeds get on the internet? Must be going up in the word. Scammering has to go. We lost so many chances. JB, let me deal with the trolls. They never beat me. If they do, I'll happily admit defeat. I was told I was going to Leeds for a trial in '99. Ended up having a few beers in Falls Park in Belfast. What do you think about Galatasaray? You mean that, don't you? What do you think about Galatasaray? I get asked that a lot, my friend. What do I think of Galatasaray? I have very limited opinions on Galatasaray because I don't really know your team currently, and I don't really follow the Turkish league, right? All I know is for Galatasaray, historically, they're a decent club. Good pedigree of club, always probably, and I'm sure some other Turkish fans will probably call me out here, but Galatasaray are obviously the probably the biggest club in the Turkish league. You did well. So look, respect. Then it says if I'm hammering in, but if December ends and we've had a shocking month, I may change my thoughts on hammering. Wise fan says, good evening to you once again. We bottled it, but this time we have not been beaten by Spurs. Tag team. I love it. So let's get on to some of my other comments. So basically, look, we're not progressing. I think what I wanted to now come on to that hammering point, right? Amrin in his conference, and I wish people would link 2 and 2 together, right? You know, I'm not here to call anybody out, but when I watch these games, I generally watch them with my notes, right? I make notes, right? I'm a little bit of a geek, and I make notes, right? I'll digest what Amrin says, and then I'll go and watch the match. And everything that he's pretty much said, you know, again, those things like we're more prepared, right? We're more prepared. Amrin, like, you play Fernandez in a position that you know he can't do, you know the performances that he has, what are you prepared for? What are you preparing for? Martin says, good result, mate. Martin, I mean, it was a good result in the end, but it's by no means the performances what concerned me. Look, I would have no problem. In if we played amazingly well and Spurs just had a penalty and then they got like a lucky goal. Fine, I'm okay with that. It's the performances for me. It's those performances. Watchman says, what was Amrin thinking about regarding subs? He brings on the Keystone Cops in the second half instead of Cavalry. Where were the young players? Why didn't you bring on Manu? Manu wasn't in the squad today. Manu was off injured. Otherwise, I think Manu would come on. So look, valid points. Like let's talk about those subs, right? So bearing in mind, referencing what Amrin said, Amrin basically was saying that, you know, we forget to improve. We are more prepared for things that happen. So why bring on all of your substitutes? What I don't get that today. Casemiro needs to come off. And this is my ultimate opinion on him. Give me your opinions on Casemiro. Give me your opinions on these players, and then I will go through the players and I will score the players as well. He brings on Ugarte. Ugarte isn't getting enough game time. He comes into this game cold. Now, he came into the Liverpool game cold and he was fine. Like Ugarte, you have to be able to bring on players who should be able to do a reasonable job. Casemiro is not the fucking saviour that everybody thinks he is. I'm seeing people saying Casemiro's a baller, Casemiro's doing this, Casemiro's this amazing play, Casemiro's back, Casemiro is, you know, the reason why, you know, Casemiro brings control into the game, right? And I'm talking about defensively. When we're talking about Casemiro defensively and we're talking about what he does, he's very good at it. He's a very good destroyer. He's a very good, if you say Morton, I like and subscribe. There you go. Done. If you say Liverpool's better, Wayne, mate, Liverpool at the moment is better. Jack Bray says Casemiro is quality, but we can't rely on him. We need a proper controlling midfielder. Belabor in Brighton from me. Now, Jack, this is where I agree, right? This is where I'm going to agree. Casemiro is a quality player, right? I'm not going to say that he's not a quality player or was a quality player. He's quality for us. But by comparison, everybody else is bad, making Casemiro look better. Casemiro does not get into Liverpool, does not get into Arsenal, does not get into a Chelsea squad. What I'm basically trying to say here, right, is that if you've got a Fiesta, a brand spanking shiny new one, right? And all you're used to is a clapped out Suzuki Swift, right? 900cc engine from 1987, right? And that's all you've got. And then somebody gives you this Fiesta ST, right? And you're thinking, wow, this car's fantastic. Now, and compared to everything else that you know, these old bangers are amazing and fantastic. Then somebody then drives around in like an Audi, I don't know, Q7. Like, that is what it is. Like, Casemiro hasn't really improved. It's everyone else around him has got worse. But where I concede is that he is the best that we've got. He's the best that we've got. That one, Gunner forever. Jack, look, mate, Jack, mate, I'm not here, Jack. Look, I love your opinion, Jack. I think it's a very, very valid opinion, and I totally agree with you. Casemiro is the best that we've got. 100% is, and I think he is a good player. But it's just, imagine the upgrade that we get. That shirt there, that one, I think is 95. So that one there is my original shirt. So these two are my original shirts. I can't find my other ones, but that one is 99. That one is, I think that's 95, 96. That is my original shirt from when I was about 12, maybe. No, mate, it is. I mean, that is my original. I mean, I do have to say this, right? Original shirts, last. I mean, that there, you would never think that shirt is 26 years old. 26 years old, and that one is even older. Mate, I have to send you a picture of Eric Cantona. Mate, I'd love that, mate. Amazing. Let's get through some of the more chats that we've got. Bruno's goals have dried up lately. It's all thanks to our future captain De Ligt that saved the bacon and embarrassment. How do you think Osman's value will be this season? Will he reach 150 million euros? No, I don't. I don't because no. Don't take this in the wrong way. Scoring goals in the Turkish league is not the same as scoring goals in the Premier League. Like, it's just not. And I promise you, I'm trying not to disrespect. Osman is a fantastic player. Osman is an elite striker. He really is. Osman is a £100 million player. He is. But no one's going to buy him. No one's going to buy him from you. So, you remember that Osman is the best striker in the Champions League. I think that Osman is one of the best strikers in the Champions League. I think Haaland and Harry Kane would have something to say about that. Just Geordie Thing says, from a Newcastle fan, it's nice to see a massive improvement in your squad. Sure, some performances may be lackluster, but compared to last season, you guys have a real chance. And look, my friend, welcome here. I love rival fans. Also love really respectful fans. Look, again, you guys, Champions League midweek, amazing performances. I'm sort of hoping now that you guys, you again, it doesn't impact your league form. But I long for the days. Whereby you've got those Philip Albert moments. You've got those classic games. I just hope that we can sort of have those classic games again, where we're both fighting for a league, and we sort of have those games again. So it's always a better Premier League, I think, when Newcastle and United are at their best. So look, defense is slow. I agree. Sure is a Vauxhall Nova. Small compact was a good idea, but breaks down all the time. We may have blown our rare chance to get second, but still unbeaten, blown 2 points. I've never knew so many people love Galatasaray. Retros are the best. Hi, mate. Hi, Trey. I always get yeah, I'm sure that's a I'm sure if I was to say that, a Liverpool fan, I'm just trying to say it in my head. Yeah, I'm not doing that, my friend. What's your thoughts on Cypriot Delight Galatasaray? He scores in the Champions League as well. He does. Can you imagine if? Yeah, he does. He does score in the Champions League, but who did he score against? That's all I'm saying. Could you imagine if Bruno leaves at the end of the season and De Ligt doesn't get captain? Right, mate. I would be gutted if he doesn't get captaincy. I think there is obviously clearly something wrong. I'm supposed to. We have one saving grace. Amarin got the manager of the month. He sure did. Osman is playing in the Champions League, not the Turkish League. Look, I'm not going to get into a debate on Osman. I'm going to say to you now, Osman is a fantastic player. Osman is a fantastic striker. In any league in the world, Osimhen would be fantastic. I'm not disputing that. Do I think he's the best in the world? No. Osimhen could do it in the Premier League. I think Osimhen could do it in the Spanish League. Osimhen is just one of those players who is a great striker. Heard Jackie was on that. Martin Face says, I was reading the Irish news about 6 years ago, and the guy who trained me up in barbering was standing in Falls Park with Eric Cantona. Cantona was in Belfast to reveal a mural of George Best. I mean, I love these stories. Amazing. Make I be a Man United player? Maybe. Were you the first one I saw? But he was. I just joined. That's amazing. I would love to hear Champions League music coming from Old Trafford again. It makes the hair on your neck. Oh, mate, that song. I mean, I remember, and again, I go well back. I remember when the Champions League started. I remember when that started, and I remember that song. I remember watching those nights playing on the old the Sega Master System. No, watching the football, playing on the love it. What colour? Nonto wasn't here. He really wasn't. No. Yeah, doesn't give it to Delit. How do you feel about the game today against Tottenham? Look, Liverpool fan. How do I feel about the game today? There's two things, right? Compared to last season, I'm not going to be the sort of prat or idiot who goes, oh, what a disaster. Like, compared to last season, we're getting points, right? But the troubling thing for me is 2 points for me is, number one, is that there's this expectation now. And I personally, I'm comfortable with this position. I don't like what we saw today. It worries me because I know who this team is. I know what these players are, and I'm worried that some of these players are going to be kept, which I think that they will be kept, right? But it worries me for the next round of games. And the reason for me that concerns me is our form looks good on paper, but our form on the pitch is not great. I want this manager to succeed. I want this manager to be given time. And my worry is if we keep continuing this game, we've got 8 games. If we go into those games and we don't play well, the manager's going to be called for again. And that's where I don't want us to be. Look, I'm happy. I've been consistent on this. If we finish 8th and 10th this season, we need to incrementally get better. Right, calling for these players out, and there are players that need to go. It's like with Wirtz, right? People are screaming for Wirtz's head. Why? Like, the kid needs to be given time. He'll grow into one of your best players. And the problem is that Amrin doesn't have time. I today the performance to me was disgraceful, but we're going to get that. I'm prepared for this. I just don't think fans are. KK says we've got an easy run on the 24th. I see 6 wins. KK, I think Crystal Palace away would disagree with you. I do. I think we've got some winnable games. Look, you're saying we've got an easy run in, right? I get it, and I semi-agree with you. But you've got to look at how we've played, mate. You've got to look at it. You're very bad at trolling. Arsenal bottled it today. They did. Seen the Barbers Liverpool fan. It was a cracker to me and Rio watched it together. And it was a cracker. Me and Rio watched it together. Look, I do love a little bit of Rio. Could you sing an Indian song? Would be fire. If I was to sing, I would be banned. My channel would be banned and I'll get arrested by the police. 4 is I can't sing. And I don't know any Indian songs, so I can't. Big Eric would have done the Kung Fu kick. I agree. We need a creative striker. Does anyone have tips for my game tomorrow? Yes. Play well. Watch it rather than hustle. Look. All I'm going to say, Liverpool fan, right? If you're a Liverpool player, mate, and you're coming on here. Or look, you know, AFCON is a serious problem. I agree, Dino. What a rag of a jersey. Maradona 10. I don't know really what you want me to say about it, mate. I don't know. I agree. Versus class and training. He scored an absolute cracker in training this morning. Brilliant. I'm loving it, mate. I love it. Our next match is in the 24th. Be home against Fulham. It's Everton. We should get 3 points from the Fulham game. It's Everton, buddy. It's Everton at home. It is. Bit more stable, John, but at the same time, we should look vulnerable. We did better job than last season. I agree. It's Trey. Or do you mean it's True or Trey? Come on, the Newcastle tomorrow. Hope you're well, but I am a friend, and Newcastle, of course. Good luck to them. So look, I'll just go through some of this as well. Again, I think I've gone through my notes. Let's go through player scores. So I wanted to go through some player scores. Noted my player scores down as I do every single match, and we'll go through some of those guys. Tell me. I'd love to know your scores as well. So again, we may agree, disagree at some point. I will do some more advanced stuff than this. I will put up some player scores and that sort of stuff. I just need to sort out my shit because it's just shit. So look, Le Mans for me. Le Mans. I'd give Le Mans a 7 today. I thought Le Mans, 2 great saves. His positioning is brilliant. I rate him a lot. There's nothing that he could have done. Watchman says Everton has slipped up lately. Once again, in Boomer scores, so I'm happy. Le Mans for me, 7. Straight up 7. I think the saves that he makes, those saves should be goals. 7.5. I'm happy. Can you do a live stream watching me play again? Look, mate, if you were a true Liverpool player, I'd happily, in fact, I'd happily have you on the show. I'd happily watch you tomorrow. But sadly, my friend, you're not. Man, we're all up late. We'll stay as long as I can. Disappointing result today. Of course. Look, if you are a real player, I'm more than happily watch you. I'd more than happily have you on the show. I love talking to rival players, like fans. More than happily have a debate. It's all good. So Le Mans, look, 7.5, 6.5. I mean, I'm around 7. 7.5 is why do you not believe me? I mean, come on. I mean, okay. Who are you? Just reveal yourself. Who are you? Who are you Isak? Oh, don't tell me you're Virgin van Dijk. Ireland play Portugal next week. If we beat Portugal and Ireland, then we can win the World Cup. Martin Fay in the Bogman. I was talking to the Ducks. I don't get. Look, mate, I'm not baited. At all. Anyway, so Le Mans 7.5. So look, I do agree in the chat with that. Now, spoiler. So Delit for me. Look, 8. I'm just going to say it, an 8. I would have given him a 7. Where are we? Man, well done, Scotty, the Banhammer. So look, for me, he was just an 8. Scott, I agree. Yeah, 8.5, 8. I'm trying to be, so with my scores, I'm trying, I always mark down slightly. But agreed. 8.5, 9. The lit for me, man of the match. There is a moment where Johnson, I think it was. They were in the box and they were having like a little bit of like a dance, and he just threw him to the floor. De Ligt, I love him. I think he's brilliant. I absolutely think he's one of the most underrated centre backs in this league. So for me, 8.5. What a goal! What a goal! And yeah, Scott, I agree with you. Big Stam was a legend, mate. Martin, I agree, mate. Big Stam was an absolute legend. So for me, 8.5, man of the match. Simple as that. One of the best. I don't know what it cost. Was it 50 million? Whatever it was. Cruz MGT says, what predictions do you have for Liverpool against City tomorrow? Ooh, it depends on what City turn up. I don't know. I still think City are vulnerable. I think if you keep Haaland quiet, you keep City quiet a bit. I think both teams are in a little bit of a run of form. I think he's got cracker written all over it tomorrow. He's got Christmas cracker. He's going to have goals. I think it's a draw. I think it's close. I think it's 2-1 either side, or 2-2, 3-3. I think tomorrow's game is going to be a cracker. I really, really do. Maguire for me. Look, Maguire got injured again. Good in the air. I thought Maguire had a decent game. I didn't notice Maguire necessarily, for the goals. Do I think the goals were his fault? No, we wasn't even on for the second goal. 6 for me, and when I'm scoring these, 6 is like an average game, so 6 is just like you just have a good game. I think that Maguire for me was a 6. I thought he sort of had a good game. Maguire's got a hamstring. Maguire's hamstring is pinged. Luke Shaw, where are we with Luke Shaw? Now, first half, I've got to say this, I would have given Luke Shaw a 6 in the first half. I thought he had an okay game. I thought he had a decent game. Second half, he falls off a cliff. Look, I'm trying to be better. Right? I'm trying to be better with the players. Look, it's so difficult even for me, and I try to be a logical person, that I try not to bring emotion into this when I'm looking at these players, right? So Luke Shaw today for me, 5. I'd give him a 5. I get people that like Luke Shaw. I think he does things well, but the goals, I mean, like the first goal, what was he doing? He's just standing there with his arms like he's just a statue. And Dino again, and this is what I love. Wiseman says Maguire 5.5. He'll be out for ages. Luke Shaw's a 4, and I'm being kind. Can't see Maguire coming back until Jan. Luke Shaw can't play centre back. Look, I agree with all these statements. You know my feelings on Luke Shaw. My eyes twitching as we speak about him. I don't want this guy anywhere near this team, and it's nothing personal. I'm sure he's a lovely lad who's kind to his mother, kind to his granny, and all that sort of shit. Fine, but Luke Shaw for me, he's just not good. I want him gone, and I don't think he should get anywhere near this team. Mazraoui today, I thought had an okay game. The dreaded JBI twitch, exactly. Flamenco, great team by the way. Maz, I found it difficult to score him today. I thought Mazraoui today, you could argue. I think you could argue anywhere between a 5.5 and a 6.5. I thought Mazraoui today for me was 5.56. I thought he had a good look. He faded badly, right? He's not completely match shot, but what he does do, he does well. You can see when Mazraoui's fit, he's a good player. He faded. That's because that's got nothing to do with. I give him a 6 as well. I think Mazraoui he's not got consistency. I think he needs consistency. I think he needs a run of games. He needs to come back fit, and he's a great player. I like him. There is no doubt for me. Casemiro. Casemiro. When Casemiro comes off, we lose control. It is true, we do. but it doesn't mean that Casemiro is a good player. Chip Play says, hi, legend. Chip Plays, absolute legend. For me today, Casemiro, when Ugarte came on, that was it. But it doesn't mean that like Casemiro is this irreplaceable player. The players are so bad. Casemiro for me is an average player, right, at best. But the behind him, John says, "I'll take you to Ireland sometime, mate. I'd love it, Martin, mate. Legend. Mate, it would be my honour. It would be amazing, my friend." Casemiro is an average player. He's got his faults, but I think he does things well. The players behind him are so bad, they're making Casemiro look like an amazing player. In his day, Casemiro was a fucking champion. What a legend. Just absolute monster. His mind is that, but his body isn't. And I think sometimes people get deceived by that, because by comparison to everything else we've got, he looks good. So for me, I'd be fair and I'd give Casemiro a 5. Leon Tower says, please respect Casemiro. Look, just because, Leon, I've done nothing but respect Casemiro. I respect Casemiro, but it doesn't mean he's a good player. The problem with Casemiro is time. The problem with Casemiro is father time. It comes to us all. You know, it came to me. It came to me about 3 years ago. But father time comes to us all. And that's what he suffers from. But I agree with Martin Grant as well. The moment Casemiro went off, we struggled. It's true. But the point I'm making here is it doesn't mean that Casemiro is so important. Look, I guarantee you, if you got Anderson in this side, by comparison, Casemiro would then look like Ugarte. The problem that we've got, our midfield is so bad. Anybody that does anything of any note, and Casemiro can, because Casemiro was a world-class player. I guarantee you, if you got Anderson into this team, by comparison, Casemiro would look like Ugarte, because that is how bad the players are. So look, this is nothing to do with, look, Casemiro has got no pace, right? Spurs ran through the midfield today. There was nothing there, and that Spurs midfield is dog shit. They ran through us. Forest ran through our midfield. It's not Casemiro. I'm not blaming Casemiro. Casemiro can only do what Casemiro can do, but it doesn't mean he's a good player. And Fernandez and Casemiro, for me, are the polar opposites. And what I mean is that with Casemiro, right, the guy will take a card, right? Casemiro is 34 years old, right? His body can't do it, but Casemiro will give you whatever he's got, right? Casemiro will give you the last of energy that he's got. Bruno Fernandez does not. That's why I've got a lot of time for a Casemiro, is because he still wants to do it. He still will give you, and he's improved this season, by the way. He will give you. That's why I respect him. Doesn't mean I think he's a good player. Doesn't mean that I think he's this amazing player. But what I like about him is he's doing the best with what he's got. He's been asked to play. He's doing the job the best that he can. And I don't think that you can ask any more of that. It's not his fault that he's playing. And it's not his fault he's 34 years old. And it's not his fault he's actually probably better than Ugarte, who's dog shit. So Casemiro, I've got a lot of time for Casemiro. A lot of time for him. 6 today. 6. Let's go back. What are we saying in here? Casemiro, like Superman when he's on, he's not on that anymore. I do agree. The moment Casemiro went off, we did start to struggle. All the talk of top 4 is ridiculous. And Steve, like mate, Steve, again, I'm sure you've watched it before, mate. Is that it makes my blood boil. You guys talking and us guys like you guys talking about it as fans is your right to, no problem, issue whatsoever with you guys talking about it, right? Because you've got your opinions, right? We're fans. When you've got content creators who've got a platform, really big platforms, and you've got people, like, as I say, that can't afford to watch games, right? You've got kids, who watch these shows because they like the funny man, or they like, and they are watching because they're watching rather for the entertainment, rather than like anything else, right? These people are believing these people who have got millions of people. They are believing these people who are saying that we can win the league. And I think it's the responsibility of channels like this is to actually set the record straight, is to have different opinions. And this is why I read out your chats, because it's important for a record of note for you guys to say, well, actually, I come onto this channel and I said X, Y, and Z, and you could be right. But I think you're right, Steve. Casemiro comes off and the quality replaces him or worse. Typical, take Casemiro off and Lauren Hardy come on, cost us 3 points. After Madrid, Liverpool, I realised how, the team cannot pass and keep holding the ball. Been like this for the last 5 seasons. Herb, I agree with you. Premier League is different, but who will win if Liverpool face Bayern? I think that's a good question. I think Bayern right now makes it sound like Casemiro is a set of jump leads, putting power on other players. Martin faces John, take the kids to Croak. Patrick Mountain in Westport. When you go there, you're protected for life, mate. If you believe in the light, 4-hour journey from the bottom. Amazing. Hey, United guy. So, Bruno Fernandez. Let's get on to Bruno Fernandez. Bruno. What's the difference with the Bayern? Can you look? Before I get on with the scores, Bayern, right? Bayern. I just think Bayern have got better players. I think, Bayern, like Harry Kane, Elise, Gnabry. I mean, they've got. I just think Lima. I mean, I just think they've got. I just think they're a better team than Liverpoall right now. An on form Liverpool with Wirtz, Isak, McAllister, Szoboszlai, blah 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 blah. If they all gel, they'll beat Bayern. Will they, ever cut his hair? I don't know. Amrin Company can get at least 2 goals against Liverpool. So, okay, Bruno Fernandez, I'm going to make this really, really easy because, again, I give Bruno Fernandez enough flack. Bruno Fernandez is not good enough. He's not a good enough captain. He's not a good enough midfielder for what we're asking him to do. All I want from Bruno this season, he is capable of some world-class things. I will not going to dispute that. But when you take away Bruno's stats and you take away Bruno's goals and his assists, and he has assisted this season, by the way, when you take those away from him, what is he? He's been asked to play in a position that's not his position. But I want my captain to rally this team up. I want this captain to grab this team by the scruff of the neck. I want this captain to fucking tackle. If you're in for a 50-50 and you're a United captain, I don't care if you break your shin and your bone is poking through your leg. You go for that tackle. I guarantee you, most of us would give our right legs to do that. To have an opportunity to captain this club in a game like that where you've got to win away to Spurs, you've got a 50-50, you're going in. I don't care. You are going in. I would go in with everything I've got. And if I take his foot off, I take his foot off. Because that's what you do. And that is our captain who toe pokes a 50-50. I said it now. I said it in the summer. I say it now. I want Bruno Fernandes gone. I've said this all season. I don't want him in this team. He adds more issues than he solves. The mistake that we made in Amrin may look. Amrin is going to die on that hill, and I want Bruno Fernandez gone. It's not a personal thing. I want Bruno Fernandez gone. So for me, Bruno Fernandez today, I did put a 5. I'm going to give him a 4 today. Fernandez for me was a 4. He offered little today. Herb says Bruno is a genius in a poor team. He's wasted his talent at this club. Such a shame. Look, Herb, I again, this is what I like. We don't have to agree. Again, I will read out your comment because again, it's important for you to get your opinion out there. I don't share that sentiment, but I do understand why people think that. Martin says he's a mad hard worker, fans, but I think he and Delo are daddy's pet. Look, I'm not going to disagree with that. And Martin, I think you make a good point. I'll say that. Fernandez does work hard. He runs around. But I could do that. But you could do that. You could run around. When I say that, I mean, maybe not physically, but, you could run around all day. But he's not doing anything. What I saw today was and to go back to Herb, right? Bruno Fernandez is capable of some genius things, like the Harry Maguire header winner. What a pass! There's not many people, but other than that, I know this season he's playing out of position and he can't do the things that he can do, but he's not doing the basics, and that for me is not forgivable. When you're a captain of this club, right? It means something, right? Being the captain of Brighton, being a captain of Man City, being a captain of the only other club that I would probably liken it to is Liverpool. The captain of Liverpool, the captain of United, there should be a certain breed. There is no other club, in my humble view, other than those two clubs, where you have to hold those captains to a high standard. You've got to. And I'm not talking about Liverpool's captains now. I'm talking about Liverpool's of the past. I'm talking about us of our past. When you've got captains that you have in those teams, you hold them to a higher standard because you've got to. We don't have that standard. We do not have. Bruno Fernandez is not that standard at all. And for that reason, you can't. You have to take the captaincy off of him. You can't do that unless he leaves the club. So, in my opinion, the captain is now with him. He needs to go for that reason. More than anything else, he's not a captain of this club. You have to take it away, and they're not going to take it away unless he leaves. So he needs to leave. As I said, Bruno has gone downhill lately. De Ligt must step into his boots and captain this team. Bruno straight in for scared to tackle 50-50 exactly. We are ranked number 1 in the league for winning the first half. We're 18th for winning in the second. Yeah, I saw that stat as well. I can't remember where I saw that stat, but yeah, I saw that. Bruno just looks tired. How can you talk about Fernandez like that? I know. I'm evil. They are all Portuguese. Amrin, Delo, Fernandez. I'm wondering about favouritism. Look, Martin, if you've watched this show for any time, I think it was Scott and Dino who basically figured it out. We actually know why they play because they both sit on Amarin's knee and he both likes to give him a little tickle. And we're not talking about anything, like that. Well, he just likes to pet them. Friends, Portuguese friends, football friends. They're making Bruno play a position, and again, and that's exactly what I'm saying. Look, I get it. I get it. He's playing in a position that's not his position. I could come back on that and basically say, look, it's a football pitch. It's a position. If he's that elite of a player, you should be able to play him as left back. I know it's not as easy as that, but I'm not seeing the basic, like the standards. Then it says 100% Amarin is sat on Amarin's knee, still getting a belly rub. Bruno takes most of our pens and his time in Bruno should do that. Smart one says this generation of people isn't built like Roy Keane, caliber or Bruce caliber, heart on the sleeve, blood in and blood out type of play. I agree. He's always been a number 10. A better team should have been built around Bruno when he came. Just my opinion. I've hated him at times too. Look, and again, that's why I read your opinions. I differ from that because not because of I don't think you should build teams around players. I think you build a team around a player, and then I believe you build teams to players' strengths. That's what I believe. If for me the problem is if you build a team around a player, let's just say you build a team around like Haaland, right? Haaland gets injured or Haaland leaves, then you're screwed. You then imagine if you build a team around him and Bruno gets injured or Bruno leaves, well then the next manager comes in and he maybe doesn't want to build around a player. That for me is just the problem. I'm not disagreeing that's just a different opinion. I think there are so many problems around building teams around players. I think small teams build their team around players. You know, look, being Welsh, right? I'll give you an example. When Wales went to the Euro semi-final, right? The reason why we got to that final is because we built that team around Ramsey and Bale. That's basically the reason why we did so well, is because everybody knew their role. And then when Bale, I think, came off and got injured, that's when you see us capitulate. This is now why Wales are not as good as they were. They're not bad. They're more of a team now. This is why we don't rely on one person. You look at Portugal, for example, they used to build around Cristiano. If you look at all the successful teams, you look at us. We didn't build a team around a single person. We built a team. City, for whatever we think about them, they built around a team. You know yeah. There was an article in some paper I read about. Fernandez said that Manu could be like me, but he's not. He means a hard worker. But I was so offended. Bruno doesn't deserve to be the captain, no more than flapping around on the pitch. He's beginning to pee me off. Knowing our luck, Bruno could pick up an injury during the break. If so, then De Ligt would love to deputise. I think that would be fantastic. Captains in those teams embody the roots of what the club is. Exactly, our midfield is washed. I don't disagree, David. We are the oracles. Tickle, tickle, tickle. Scott, you got around JB's house tonight? Not tonight, mate. Look, I've got nothing. I've got nothing but respect for Scott. Scott is a legend. Captains most of the time are leaders, and Bruno only leads in complaining and crying. I love your mum. Scott, I think that come on. Sorry, Banham is coming out. Just seen on the BBC football website that Shesko's picked up an injury. If that's true, whatever the severity of the injury is, we are stuffed unless Xerxes plays and shines. And this is why I was saying, this is why my transfer window prediction, I said if we don't sign another striker, we needed to sign another temporary striker or some sort of experienced one. It's all coming home to roost. Bro, this team is after a long time, okay for a few games, and you're gonna hate. Look, I'm not hating on Bruno Fernandez. It's not hate. I don't hate anybody. I don't hate any player. But the problem And I think this is the problem in our fan base. And again, I don't know how old you are. I'm because somebody calls someone out or somebody gives you an opinion about a player, it's not hate. Like, people have their opinions about me. They're entitled, right? I don't hate him. It's his time to go. I will thank Bruno Fernandez. I want Bruno Fernandez to leave on good terms. I want people to think, what a good player. What a good player, right? I genuinely think that, well, what a good player. I don't believe I would lose no sleep if any of these players left. I'm very fortunate and very, very lucky to have seen Schmeichel, Pallister, Bruce, Giggs, Ince, Parker, Hughes, Sharp, Ince, Keane. I mean, I'm so fortunate to watch those players. Saddened to watch them all leave. I wouldn't batter an eyelid if any of these players left. I wouldn't batter an. Bruno Fernandez, and people of a certain age will say, "Oh, the guy's a legend." He's not a legend. Bruno Fernandez is a decent player. He's not up there for me. He's nowhere near. I wouldn't even put him in our top 15 players. Like, I put so many players. I would say that Bruno Fernandez is one of our good players. He's nowhere near legend status, nowhere near superstar status. He is the best of the rest. Says, actually get your point. Overall, I've grown up to respect Bruno the man for stepping up when we look. I respect that completely. Look, I absolutely do. I've got respect from Bruno Fernandez. I respect the player. If Bruno wasn't the captain, I would probably give him a little bit more leeway. But when you, in life, in my view, is when you put your head above the parapet, right? And there were certain responsibilities, like Bruno Fernandez didn't have to accept the captaincy, right? Bruno Fernandez should know what that captaincy is. And you have to, whether people like it or not, you have to attain a high standard. I can accept that Bruno Fernandez is not playing in the right position. No problem with that. But there are certain things I have to call out, and there's certain things I have to demand from a captain, from a player, and he's not showing that to me. He's been horrible consistent. He's been horrible consistently. He was mentioned wholly this week and last week. Seshko should have scored, and then he just goes off. Where's his heart? I mean, Lion. I don't know if you watched the game or not, but Van der Ven's tackle was amazing. It's got nothing to do with heart. I mean, if you're running down the street and I literally tackle you to the ground and I damage your ankle, are you going to tell me? Are you going to tell me that you should still walk? Like, Shesko got tackled, a great tackle. Should he have scored? Yes, but he went off because he's injured. Early reports on Shesko is not serious and will have an MRI on his knee on Monday. It's defo Emmy or someone who comes in here under a different name. You know how good Fernandez can be, so they can't do the basics. He 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 can't. Look. You've got your opinion on Fernandez. I'm not going to call you out on that. I could say I don't understand how you can support him. Blah 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 blah. No, I get it. I get why people support him. I just simply have a different opinion on him. I do. I just simply have a different opinion on him, and he's just not doing the basics. Seshko is soft. He cost us the game. Come on now. Look. So you're saying, Lion Tao, that Shesko is soft and he cost us the game. Interesting. I'll let the chat deal with that one. Okay, legends, it's getting late, so I'm turning in. Been a great stream. Have a good Sunday. Look, yes, Yeah, Remembrance Sunday as well. So see you later. Bruno has been a good play in the past few years. Scott, as always, eloquent as always, my friend. Bruno has turned into a Rashford player for a period of time and then doesn't influence the team on the pitch. If you don't sell Bruno, he'll get Amran sacked. I agree with you. I agree with you completely. I would like him to go on good terms, but most fans think I'm out of order. Martin, I'm with you. I want him to go, but I want Bruno to go on good terms. Bruno Fernandez deserves to leave this club a hero, right? He's not my hero, but I get there were people in this fan base who are of a certain age who never got to see some of these amazing players. So I think that I would like Bruno Fernandez to go as a hero, right? Let him go. I want him gone. You guys are acting like it will be better without Fernandez. That's the most stupid thing I've heard today. Have we won a league? Were we 15th last season? Where was Bruno in the Spurs final? Where was Bruno when we lost 7-0 to Anfield? This amazing player. Where are the Premier Leagues? He was in the team that finished 15th last season. Where was he in the final? He was the captain. We played a shit Spurs side. We could have been in the Champions League. Where was Fernandez then? When Fernandez leaves this club, will we be better? I'm not saying that, but Bruno Fernandez needs to go. It's as simple as that. Like, Bruno Fernandez will be 31, 32 years old. Bruno needs to go. Bruno is stopping young players from coming through. But I agree with Scott. We will be better. Look, Mark, if you want to keep Bruno Fernandez here until he's 50, knock yourself out. Knock yourself out. He's done so much for United, and he can't do it on his own every match when the team is. Look, mate, I'm not disagreeing with you, but Bruno Fernandez is not doing it on his own anymore. All Bruno's asked. We can go back. Bruno Fernandez has been a fantastic player. Bruno Fernandez on his day is a world-class player. There were glimpses, but Bruno Fernandez has not been good for 2 years. We can try to kid ourselves, and look, people can have their opinions on players, right? I'm not calling your opinion out, right? I really am not. If you like him, fantastic. Love him, great. But players have their time. Players have their time. Players come and go. But Bruno Fernandez has been one of those players that's been playing shit. It's just my opinion. I've been watching this guy for the last 5 years. Dino, you're right. Players come and go. Like Bruno Fernandez, I wouldn't blink an eyelid. Like, exactly, we've had players like Schmeichel retire, Pallister, Bruce, Irwin. Dennis Irwin. When he retired, Dennis Irwin was one of the best players that we ever had. Roy Keane when he got dumped. Cristiano when he left, when Rooney retired. But then you got Kanchelskis, Jap Stam, Andy Cole. I could go through this. And then you're using money to flop. But again, it doesn't matter about. That's not what we're talking about. Like, we're talking about players, right? And I agree with you. Look, I promise you, I'm not calling your opinion out. You've got your opinions, and I respect that. It is time for him to go. So before I go, look, let's just get through the rest of them. Dorgu, I thought Dorgu was a 6 today. I thought Dorgu was a 6 today. I thought he had a bit of a dodgy opening, but I did think that Dorgu was a 6 today. Scott says our club shouldn't be scared to get rid of one of our best players. It happens all the time. I agree with you completely. So Dorgu today was a 6. I thought he had a good game. I liked his pace. Herb says, off topic, but I wish Pogba had played his best football. What a player he was. Look, Herb, again, you know, we Pogba's one of those conundrums. You know, you get players like it, right? You know, Pogba, I would have loved to. Look, how amazing would it have been to have an academy player like Pogba? Pogba on his day was unplayable. Unplayable on his day. Pogba, unplayable. Right? You're right. Sad. It is sad. So, Dorgu for me, look, good game. I like his look. Is he the finished guy? No. I think he could do with having somebody slightly older and him having to chase that down. I think just putting him in and expecting him to be the finished product right now, I think is what we've done with our sort of youth players. I think he could probably do with somebody experienced in there to teach him the ropes. Dino says, yeah, you Pogba's in play, but when you got Perlo, exactly that. So Dorgu for me, look, Dorgu is a work in progress. I think that I do agree with you, Rick. I do think he was right. Can I give you a big kiss if you so wish? In Bumo for me, 7. 7 today. Again, goal, lots of endeavour. I really like his work rate. I thought second half, as much of the team did, because everyone fell off a cliff a little bit, service wise. I mean, what is he supposed to do? He can't do much. I mean, you know, what's he supposed to do? So for me, I give him a 7. Ahmad, I thought Ahmad again played well. I give Ahmad a 7 as well. I like him. I like the things he brings. Energy, never say die, chases balls down. Would be at 7.5. Second half, not great. Yeah, exactly. I agree with you as well. Ahmad for me, 7. I like his work rate. I like the things that he does. The cross for the goal. He works well. I like Ahmad a lot. Cunha for me today, I think, look, with Cunha, I think you can go one of two ways. I just don't think Cunha played brilliantly today. I like some of the things he does, but he gets frustrated. I think Cunha today, you're 5.5. And I have high hopes for Cunha. Please, God, let him be the player that brings us success. Look, I think he is. I think he's a great player. I just think he just had a bad game today. I think it's a bad game for him because he gets frustrated. I think he's passionate. I think he's a very, very passionate player. Where have we seen this before, though? Bruno Fernandez. My touch of worry with Cunha, is he a Bruno Fernandez type? I know he's Brazilian, but I know they speak Portuguese and it's not the same, but you know, that's my only comment about Cunha right now is I think he gets very, very frustrated. Jose says, hola, my friend. Boca or Rivers? I'm taking you mean Boca Juniors or River Plate. I always like River Plate. I don't know enough about your histories, but I was always gravitating more towards River Plate, really. So Cunha for me, 5. Euro came on, I'd give him a 6. Ugarte, I've written down a 4, but Ugarte is a 3 for me. Ugarte is awful. Ugarte is just fell off a cliff. Euro was a 6 for me. Ugarte, 3 for me. I mean, so Dello, he came on 5. NA for Ugarte. Yeah, so Dello came on 5. I mean, wasn't. He just makes us worse. I mean, like he doesn't add anything to the conversation. You know, he comes on, he doesn't make us better. He doesn't make us better, so he's a 5. He has to be a 5. He doesn't make us better. Shesko for me again, 5. And again, like there's nothing to him. There's no service to him. Shesko is starting to look like Haaland, and when I say that, I don't mean playing like him. His head is starting to go down. Now the Van der Ven tackle was great, but I wonder if that was a confident Shesko, would he have done something differently there? I wonder why. Mason Mount. Again, you could argue 5, 6, and I'd give him a 6 on the basis that he came on, he ran around a bit. I don't think he made himself look bad. He comes on, Mason Mount. I don't know what more to say about Mount. Always injured. I mean, he played today, but is he really fit? So yeah, Shesko 4, like I said in the watch long, I've looked at him and thought, yeah, he looked lost. Exactly, he did. He just looks completely lost. Agree with you. When is Amrin going to use Maguire as a false 9? I think Mazza, Delos, Shaw, and Dorgu are very weak links. All 4 need replacing her. Interesting. Yeah. Dino says Mount was a 5 standard. So Amarin, what would I give Amarin today? So look, Amarin. Amarin doesn't get... Look, what I'm going to say, first of all, there are a couple of things that I'm going to say. Number one is I support this manager. There's enough for me. I'll give him my support. I want to give Amarin until the end of the season. I've seen enough. We finished 15th last season. I'll still maintain that it wasn't his fault. He hasn't got all of his players still. So for me, Amarin, look, if we finish 10th, am I happy? No. But it's progress. And I'd be happy to stick with him for the rest of the season, right? I want to give him that time. I want to give a manager time, right? But, and there is a big but, and I think Dino's right on this one. Amarin 3 might support him today, but will not defend his choices. I don't even support his choices today. Look, I like Amarin. I've backed him. Grimsby game. If you can back him, like after that game, which I did, you got this guy's back. I've said that when I will be manager out is when I think Amarin starts making decisions and choices that are out of stubbornness and out of his own ideology instead of putting the club first, right? I don't think he's doing it. I don't think he is, right? Why I know Amarin is not is because what Amarin has said, right? I'm going to read you this again because I think Amarin is fucking spot on, right? We can win any game. We think we can win any game. Last game was tough on us. We were not the team we are supposed to be. We cannot forget we have to improve. We are more prepared for anything that can happen in the games. We're better in the moments. We have a lot to improve to win games. We also know we struggle in games we have to win. Amarin knows this team. Amarin is not fooled by this team, right? What is he supposed to do? Right? What is Amarin supposed to do to pick in this team? He's got Casemiro, who's his best midfield player. Bruno Fernandez is on him, but if you look at this whole team, I've been saying this low IQ team. This team is finished 15th last season. It is not his team. But where I have to go with Dino, and this is where I have to go in on the coach today. Mate, you've got one game a week. You've got one game a week. The decisions you make are baffling. Today you coached the loss. Like this is on. Look, this is on the fucking players. Like I'm not gonna dispute that. But Herb, you're right. The decisions he makes, the in-game decisions that he makes. I mean, he made 6 substitutes today. Was it 6 he made? I mean, when you're in a tight game like this, why would you do that? Like, you're playing, like, I don't get the Fernandez thing. I've not got that the whole season. This Portuguese connection with the right back, I don't get that either. Why you consistently play one of the worst right wing backs, left wing backs, whatever the fuck he is I don't get it. Is horrendous. Electing, the way you set your team up, and then this refusal to change away from a pivot. It baffles me, and then you in game you then change and you bring players on that don't make a difference. I don't get it. Look, I do agree. Atuegu, if that's your name, and I apologise if I have destroyed your name there. Šeško is no different from Højlund, but why is Šeško not different to Højlund? Why is Šeško not different to Højlund? The reason why Šeško is not different to Højlund is because of service. No striker. You can put Haaland in this team and he's not scoring goals. United guy, can you do the Højlund kills celebration? Is that one? Yeah. No depth in the squad. I agree with you. I'm backing Amrin, but I'm not convinced due to his lack of game management. Bruno is replaceable. I agree. The pivot just makes me scratch my head and ask why. One thing is for sure, I still love this club. Yeah, look, and this is why we do this. This is why we do it. I think Scotty's bang on as well. It's too much pressure on him. This is what we do time and time again. We bring in these young strikers and we burn them because there's no outlet. Like, where's our other striker? What we need to take this pressure off these young players, and it's something that we don't do. So look, I look, as much as I support this manager, and I'll say this time and time again, I am manager in, Amarin in. But there comes a time where, I've said this plenty of times, even I will say this, that Amarin may not be the guy. He may not be the guy. He is the guy for now. I think there are things that these players need to do themselves, as Dino said there. Like I said, Bruno has carried United for years and years. You don't even back him. No. I don't back him now because he's not that player anymore. Look, we're trying to move away from that. We're trying to move away. No player should be carrying a team, right? We should be moving away from those days. Just because a player, in your opinion, has carried a team, what do you want me to do? Like, should we just keep him forever? Like, Bruno Fernandez, and I know what people are trying to insinuate about Bruno Fernandez, right? Bruno Fernandez is not a legend of this club. And I'll argue this with anybody. I can't give a shit if you live up his arse. Bruno Fernandez is not a patch on any. The reason why Bruno Fernandez looks so good is because the players that we've bought are toilet. Pretty much toilet. It's a bit like being the best of a bad bunch. And that's what he's been. That's what we've had. We've bought players like Schneiderlin. We've bought players like, I was going to say Luke Shaw, but Sanchez. And I know some of these players weren't around when he was here. But, you've got Lindelof. I mean, you've got all these players. And Steve says Sky Blue Army. It's a case of what you haven't done for me. Togetherness and the team haven't got it. Exactly. A legend wins the league and more. And look, I hate, I really dislike, look, not calling people out, right? But if you've got a player that you like, I get it, right? I get it. And I'm not caught. Look, people like stuff, right? He says a club is ready to pay 100 million. In Saudi, the Saudis are willing to pay us 100 million. They were willing to pay us 100 million pounds. The Saudis, because they want a name in their league. They're not paying it because he's worth it. They're paying it. That's what we. Yeah. Steve Harrington, legend, my friend, togetherness, and the team haven't got. And Steve, and you're right, mate. You know, you don't have to be a Real Madrid or United or whatever else to have togetherness and be a good team. Football Chief says, if you got a player that you like, forget about Amarin isn't playing him. If you got a player that you like, forget about him and Amarin isn't playing him. Martin says he definitely is not a legend. People say he carried us, but he's also been the reason why we lost a few important games and shit penalties. Look, Martin, I agree with you. Like the I would probably say the most disappointing thing for me is that final last year. Like, imagine you've got an opportunity to go back to the Champions League. You don't deserve it. You finished 15th, a load of money, and what does he do? You know, Dino says, we said no to 100 million. And other TV. United will be more mess when Mbemba Ahmad goes to the African Cup of Nations. Can't believe we didn't take the 100 million for Bruno. I agree with you. Insane money for one player. AFCON is a massive worry. Imagine losing a final against Spurs. Exactly my point. He ain't dropping Bruno ever, and there's nothing wrong with just saying it out. If anything, we need to try it. Bruno's not going anywhere. Bruno's not going anywhere at all. So that's where we are. So guys, look, before I go, amazing show tonight. As always, you guys are legends. I absolutely love this. You guys are, I know we don't always agree. We don't have to agree, but I want you to know I do respect your opinions. Even if we have a little bit of a debate and we don't agree, I always absolutely respect the opinions. And again, look, trust Bruno. He'll step up again. I've been waiting for 2 years. I've been waiting for 2 years. But I do respect your opinion. So look, guys, I'm going to go amazing show. Like I always say this, like guys, whether you interact with me, top stream, you kept me up, and I'll be a grumpy type. Look, Herb, I'm glad I can have that impact now. Look, you guys, just I honestly, I can't even express to you guys like how amazing this is. Like to have you guys on here, to talk about something that we love, passionate about, and I generally hope I do give you guys the platform and the time to be able to share your views. This is what this channel is about. It's about you guys sharing your views and actually having a voice. But yeah, guys, I mean, this show, this channel is nothing without you guys. Dino says, as always, great show. Cheers, buddy. Great chat again. Congrats on the 23k. Onwards and upwards to the 24k. Exactly, guys. Just like, favorite, and subscribe the hell out of these, and get bigger and bigger and bigger. And then the bigger we get, the more stuff that I can do. I can come to you at a better hour. I do this around work and my life as well. So I'd love to be more consistent and give you proper times and shows and that sort of stuff. So hopefully, if the channel gets bigger, I'll have a proper time and a proper thing. So, but guys, look, legends. Not the best result today, but we go again. We're getting through this. Martin says, really enjoyed it. Thanks for the reading. Look, Martin, it's my pleasure. Look, you don't need to thank you. You don't need to thank me. I need to thank you guys, because without comments, you guys provide some of the content as well. So it's a massive thank you to you guys. International break as well, Steve. So it's going to be prepared for a lot of shit. That's all I'm going to say. Good night, mate. Good health and happiness. Look, Herb, you are a legend of this chat as well now, my friend. So back at you. Look, I'll be back at some point tomorrow. I'll probably be back tomorrow evening. Chats about tripods. Jesus Christ. Dino, we're gonna have to come up with some chats, because we're going to be talking about all sorts of stuff on here. We'll be going down so many rabbit holes. yeah, we'll be doing that stuff. So look, guys, Scott, peace, my friend, legend as always. I'll be back some point tomorrow evening, guys. Amazing show. Have a good rest of your morning. It is the bloody morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. I'll be back tomorrow, probably evening at some point. And yeah, legends, guys. So on that night, stay safe. Thank you for being here. You are all legends, and you know you are. Good morning, exactly. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. So take care. I'll see you on the next one, guys. See you later.